Shalom. First, I give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Kakwadash. And as you can see from the title of this article, it says Vladimir Putin says he's ready to go to war with Europe, gripping that EU leaders have sabotaged peace talks. And the peace talks he's talking about is with Ukraine. They trying to see, which it's all orchestrated and planned, that there's not going to be any peace talks with this Russia and Ukraine. It's all one big smoke and mirror show, man, for the masses. Both sides are making money. Both sides are making money from this war. They're trying out new weapons. It's pretty much a live exercise, but with real fire, man. Live ammunition. And so it's not going to end because they're just making too much money. Money laundering, the lies and deceit that Esau Edom, that the so-called white man, perpetrates, man. His MO. But as you see Putin saying he is ready for war, man. And because he knows, he probably don't know all the full details, but he's going to go to war with NATO, America, NATO, EU, and America. And so Yahweh Shema Shah is, mustering the battle. And the main big battle is going to be World War III. And Russia, they play a big part in prophecy. Let's read some of this article. It says Russian dictator Vladimir Putin said he is ready to go to war with Europe, accusing EU leaders of sabotaging peace talks with the US. We are not planning to go to war with Europe, but if Europe wants to and starts, we are ready right now, Putin warned. Putin slammed European leaders for their repeated calls to reject Moscow's maximalist demands to end the war, which would see Ukraine concede land and shrink its army. The Russian strongman also said that Europe's counter proposal, which called for NATO membership, is to remain on the table for Ukraine, was absolutely unacceptable. Putin's comments came ahead of the scheduled peace talks between the Kremlin and President Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff and son-in-law Jared Kushner. Putin welcomed Witkoff early Tuesday with only an interpreter set to join the two Americans as they discussed the latest U.S.-backed peace proposal with Putin and his team. While the U.S. is leading the latest round of negotiations between Kiev and Moscow, European leaders have urged Trump to be harsh on Putin and avoid rewarding Russia for invading Ukraine. And Trump's controversial 28-point peace plan leaked, a plan that heavily favored Russia. Europe presented its own counter-proposal that removed the concessions being asked of Ukraine. European officials have argued that Ukraine must remain heavily fortified to act as a steel porcupine to keep Russia from invading further into Europe. But, the gist of the article, I just wanted to get that. It's showing you that Putin is ready to go to war with Europe. And he knows when Europe gets involved in NATO, which America is included in the NATO allies, is going to join in, and America is a part of NATO. So we're going to have this World War III that's been mentioned, way before time. It's been thought of even before the beginning before the heavens and the earth was created, World War III was already determined by the Most High Yahweh. So as a man of the Lord, you got to be a watchman, watching the times, because this war could ramp up. It's been saying that Poland is going to be the starter, to be the one that kick it off. But who knows? They say Poland, Estonia, Germany maybe. But only time will tell, man. But one thing about the man of the Lord, it says we know in part, so we prophesy in part. We don't know all the full details. But we do know that World War III is upon us. And for the heathen, the Most High is getting ready to gather all y'all asses to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, man. Yahweh Shaphat, Yahweh is a judgment to judge all you heathens. Everybody outside of the nation of Israel. You're going to be gathered to the Middle East. And Jake, that's part of Israel. Y'all asses is going to get sent out to the Middle East too. Because the Most High, this time, he's not coming for everybody. He's coming for the elect this time. So Jake and the heathens are going to get y'all asses sent to that Middle East, and you will become lawn furniture, lawn ornaments. You will become a feast for the birds. They eat the flesh, man. The Most High said he promised the birds a feast. And believe me, when he said he promised something, it's going to happen, man. Let's get some precepts. It's Jeremiah 30:5. It said, for thus says Yahweh, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. There's no peace in the earth right now. You got these monks marching or hiking, walking, whatever you want to call it, for peace for America. But it's not going to happen because America doesn't believe in peace. They're all in different countries, robbing, maiming, and killing. They're in Somalia right now, killing so-called terrorists. They got, the battleships down near the Caribbean getting ready to attack Venezuela. So there's no peace, man. The Most High is stirring up these nations, these heathens, to bring in all pure hell upon the earth. And believe it or not, Jake, you so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans, y'all asses are going to get drafted for this World War III, for this meat grinder, for this big barbecue that's coming. So you don't want to serve Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You're going to serve Esau Edom, the so-called white man, and get thrown in his military to get your ass judged by the Most High. Because no one's going to wait for you 2/3 of the nation of Israel to get right. It's not going to happen. You're just going to become worse and worse. Just the way you are now, man. Dreads, baby dreads, blue hair, orange hair, pants hanging off your ass. You niggas are a disgrace to the nation of Israel, man. A pure, utterly disgrace, man. And it's time to get rid of the trash of the nation of Israel. It's time for you to be burned up, man. You know? And how that's going to take place is with the thermonuclear ICBM missiles. Y'all asses are going to pay dearly, man. Let's go on. This is Joel 3. Proclaim ye. This is Joel 3 and 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Talking about soldiers, military men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Yeah, let all the heathen nations prepare war. You know, let them come up. Come up to what? Come up to the battle. Come up to the Levant, to the Middle East. You know, for you can get your judgment. You know, so we can, well, for Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Salakia, you know, for Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, to end these wars for once and for all. So get your military geared up, your special ops, your SEAL teams and all this. Get all that together, because you know this is going to be the last war, and we're going to have Esau Edom under control, man. You know, when I mean under control, I'm talking about no more lies and deception, no more creating wars, you know, economic booms, busts. You know, he's not going to be able to, you know, wreak havoc upon the earth anymore. His blessing, the sword, is going to be taken away from him once and for all, man. You know, so, you know, the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, he's using Putin to bring this war, this inevitable war between Russia, NATO, and the EU, and the US. It's inevitable. And then all the people who are allied with Russia are going to join Russia. And you know, and it speaks about how the scriptures speak about how Russia is going to be a guard unto Iran. So you got Russia, Iran, China, North Korea, and some South African countries lined up with Russia. I believe you got some of the Vietnamese. They do business with Russia. You know, so it's going to be a beautiful battle, man. You know, it's going to be very beautiful. And there's going to be a lot of death. You know, so you so-called Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, the men and the women, you about to get drafted. You know, so you might want to enjoy Christmas, because this will be your last fucking Christmas. You know, but I'm going to go ahead and end it off on that, man. Before I get out of here, I'm going to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash, Shalom.